I'm the coming attraction.
I'm the
Oh.
coming attraction. Maybe Goblin. Not wrong to say. I'm like, oh,
Is it the coming or the attraction?
it's both
Okay.
together. But I dropped the S, like coming attraction, so it's singular. So it's like I'm the coming attraction.
Out of all the attractions, I'm the one that's
It's
coming.
coming, yes. Is it soon? Is it later? We just don't know.
Will it be at a theater or in home?
Will it be
Oh, I keep
streaming
trying.
all over you?
Well, that escalated.
Oh
Are
God,
we
that
still
was
on
funny.
air?
Are we still rolling? No one yelled cut.
We're going live. Welcome to this week's episode of Not a Strong Start, where we talk about movies, TV shows, pretty much anything we want to, and not do intros as crisp as damned. I am your host for this episode. Coming soon. That's what he said.
I am not your host. Coming to a theater near you.
Okay, I didn't even notice you guys changing. You guys do this in like secret, and I never noticed. And I'm like in La La Land. No, okay, wait. This year to cut. I need to rename something. This is bad. I shouldn't have called myself this. Now I'm regretting this. Oh God, I'm I'm the coming attraction. Saying it.
I guess we're all coming.
All right. You
Soon
gotta
at
own
the
it.
theater.
You gotta own that coming, all right? You gotta.
Oh, at least it's all at the same time.
That's for you, Chuck, buddy.
That takes a lot of work.
All right. Well, before we get into this episode, I'm gonna hit you with the current event. Oh, this is actually where I throw it to myself on this one.
Yeah.
Now, we've all seen Daredevil here, and we're all fans of Daredevil. And as everyone's well aware, Disney it will now be putting out a new Daredevil. And we discussed in the previous episode that what they had done so far, leadership was not exactly happy with it, and they pretty much scrapped it and made some changes to the creative team. That being said, and I'm kind of happy about this since I just did a rewatch of the old Netflix series. Rumor out there from an executive that's supposedly from Disney is that they are considering making the Netflix Daredevil canon after they alluded for it in the past not to be canon and going to be its own thing. They were just going to bring the character over. So now with this series becoming canon, it kind of gets me a little more excited because for me, that opens up the possibility of introducing one of my favorite characters from that series, which was Foggy, who stated that he was not going to be part of the new series. What are your guys' thoughts on Daredevil, the Netflix one, possibly being canon going forward? Marie, let's start with you.
I always like it when people keep it canon. Like honestly, I love that. I'm glad. I hope that it feels canon. I hope it carries on with the same vibe as when it was pre-Disney. I haven't watched the Daredevil series in a while, but I know I watched it at least twice through. And I'm excited for the new installment. And now this makes me even more excited because it's like you put so much time and energy and you love the other series so much that for it to come out again and not be canon with that one, it's just like, oh, well, this is the one I love, so I'm glad that they're melding it together and making it canon. Yes, I'm happy about it.
George?
I guess two things. One, recently Kevin Feige had made a statement saying that every comic book movie that Marvel has come out with, whether it was MCU or like Sony's, Fox's, like X-Men and Spider-Man, it's all canon at this point because there's a multiverse. So everything exists within this realm. So when he made that statement, it kind of made everything okay. I would say, what's the point of having Charlie Cox if it was never going to be canon? You could have just recast it if you weren't going to have it be continuous. They knew they had a good thing with him. They knew it was a successful
and
show.
Punisher also
And
coming
Punisher.
over.
Yeah, and having freaking Wilson Fisk, having D'Onofrio come over and reprise his role. It's like if you're gonna have those characters, you have to make it canon. Otherwise, you're just wasting our time.
Yes.
In which I will say,
Preach.
we just recently saw of anyone who has seen the leaked fight scene from Echo with Daredevil. He's already donning his original suit, or something at least is closer to, as opposed to that yellow and red homage suit. I didn't mind that for She-Hulk. It was funny, but this is the suit he should be wearing. I like the all red dark suit. I'm glad they brought that in there.
Yeah, and I think on a story basis, it's better if it is canon, because the original series was a well done series. It was a good story, and we saw from beginning to end the progression of Fisk and Daredevil to pretty much mortal enemies by the end of it, where they were ready to tear each other like apart. So you're not gonna make it canon and you're gonna include both of them. I don't want to see that restarted again. Like I'm already
Yeah,
there storyline wise of like they hate each other's guts at this point. They know who each other are, what they're capable of. Now tell me what's next.
yeah. No, I don't want to see it
Yeah.
watered down either. I want to see
Right.
it continued where at the level it was at.
That's the fear. That's what I'm nervous about. So I mean, when you're if you're keeping it like a cohesive from what before it was like pre-Disney, like you got to keep that same feeling and vibe, or else it's going to feel like a different show or like it's not connected. So yeah, it can't be watered down. I hope not. Please,
Yeah,
please.
God willing. Do you like the comic books? The comic books have Marvel Knights, which is their darker comic book series, or Marvel Max, is taking those characters like Daredevil, Punisher, and keeping them as gritty and as hardcore as they can be, while not losing any of that charm that Marvel can have.
Yeah. Let Hulu be your Marvel Knights.
Yeah,
Like that's what you use Hulu. That's why they threw Predator in there. They're gonna throw Alien in there. Like let that be your platform if you don't want to sully the Disney Plus like platform. The only thing I ask, because I appreciate the character so much more through the second playthrough, is watch through, bring Foggy back. He is
yeah.
an integral part of
He's
that
so good.
series, and their dynamic together. You need that. So I'll leave it at that. But speaking of things coming in the future, in this episode, we wanted to take, now that we started a new year, take some time to discuss what are some of the movies that we're looking forward to the most in this coming year. Because as movie lovers, we're always looking what's the next movie that we're going to enjoy. As much as we love replaying old stuff, sometimes it's good to experience something for the first time and really like it. So that's what we're going to be touching on in this episode. And I say let's get right into it. We're going to do this by genre. So the first one, let's start with one of our favorite genres, horror. So George, starting with you, what is a horror movie that you're really anticipating this upcoming year?
Nothing has been shown yet, but I'm super excited for Nosferatu. It's directed
Ooh.
by Robert Eggers. We've already known what this guy can do. He puts out pure best dramatic horror that exists. And seeing Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, I mean, it's like a no-brainer, honestly. I've only seen one image so far, and it's of Willem Dafoe, and he looks crazy as hell. I was like, yeah, give me this. I want it. I want it so bad. He also wanted to do this project, I think, since like 10 years ago or something like that. Like this is something he's had his his heart set on, Robert Eggers, to do. So he's finally getting to do it. I'm all for it.
It's always a plus. It always shows in the work when someone really wants to do something, or they really like a character, or they really like a story, and they kind of stay consistent and fight to get that over time. When they finally get the opportunity, usually it shows in the work, in the final product, like the passion behind it.
Yeah.
So good choice on that one. We actually last year when we did the 100 horror movie challenge, Nosferatu was on there, so we had to rewatch that one last year.
Did you watch the
So
original one, or was it the remake, like from like the 70s, 80s one?
no, it was the
Okay.
old original one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
I can see the enjoyment in your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate what it delivered at its time and what it means to cinema and horror. But it's not something you're gonna be watching all the time for entertainment. What about you, Marie? What is your horror pick for the upcoming year?
The same. Nosferatu is the same
Oh,
one. Yep. I had Alien Romulus and Nosferatu, and I was like, because Alien Romulus is the director is Fede Alvarez, who did
Yeah.
the Evil Dead remake, which is like my favorite horror movie ever. But then I read more of the synopsis, and I'm like, oh, I'm a little nervous because it's like a young group, and it's like looks like it's all like teenagers. I'm like, I don't know anymore. So Nosferatu, won that tie, uh, and for the reasons that George said. And I just, the look of it looks so beautiful. I'm all for that gothic darkness, and the cinematography looks awesome. And the fact that they basically had a special filter made for this movie to make it look a certain way, I was like, okay, okay. So we've never seen something like this because it was something specifically made just for this movie. So they wanted to make it look like it was shot in black and white, but allowing a few colors, especially blue, to come through into the frame. Oh, I just, for the aesthetic alone, I can't wait for it. I'm excited.
I went with Alien Romulus on that. One, because that director, and
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of the Evil Dead remake. But another thing is I might still be going off of the high of Prey and what they were able to do to Prey, bringing it back basically to its roots and what Predator was originally, you know, about the hunt and the survival and things like that without any of the extra stuff. Uh, and it seems like that's the aim with Alien. I don't want some philosophical diatribe for like 2.5 hours telling me of the creation of humanity and aliens and what the meaning of life is when it comes to alien movie. I want xenomorphs hunting, destroying, hugging faces, popping out of chest, you know, melting people down with their acid, just pure chaos. And I want that tension that you never got with the Prometheus movies, that you got with
Mhm.
the original Aliens. And even though the premise of it doesn't seem like anything crazy, I'm happy with it. I don't want crazy. I want simple with this. And if they can do to Romulus what they did with Prey, I am going to be very happy with the end result. That's why I'm looking forward to that one the most.
I just hope it doesn't feel too young. I hope it doesn't feel too like teenage, like a teenage alien movie. If you want to know something funny, a fun fact that's really embarrassing, the first time I watched Prometheus, my husband and I didn't know that it was part of the Alien franchise. And we
Oh,
were like, this is such a ripoff of Alien. We were all mad and they were like, oh, whoops.
oh,
I
that's
was
great.
like angry at the end. They were like, oh, wait, it's part of the story. Yeah, it's
Well, you
really
should have
embarrassing,
probably
but
you could have still kept your anger for going through
Yeah.
I didn't mind it, but I was just like, oh, okay, I would have looked at it. Maybe I would have looked at it and been more angry during the whole viewing if I knew, right?
All right. Well, now that we knocked horror out of the way, let's go into action for the next one. I know this is the one that Marie thought of right away, what movie she was going to have for her action. So we will start with her for this one. What is your action pick for the year?
This one was hard for me. Also, it was kind of tied with another one that I put in another category because I didn't know. It was just hard for me to be like, is that action or is this thriller? So I had to swap them a couple times. But anyway, I picked Furiosa for my action movie that I'm looking forward to. I've only seen Mad Max Fury Road once, but I remember enjoying it a lot. And I'm really like, you're gonna see in my picks that I'm all about the vibe and aesthetic, okay? Like that's like the number one thing in movies for me is like how it makes me feel and usually is visually. And I just love how it kind of looks like video game-ish. I love the golden tones, so I'm just really excited to see that and see like her backstory and the prequel story to it. Chris Hemsworth, I love him as an actor, and I think he's gonna do great in it. It's nice to see him not look like a pretty boy. And I know you could say, "What about chubby Thor?" But it's like chubby Thor don't bother don't bother me that much.
That's a dad bod. That's a dad.
Right?
That was a
So,
fad for a couple of years there.
I mean, it still is. Keep it going. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I like how it looks kind of video game-ish, like I said, and it reminds me of Borderlands, my one of my most favorite video games. And I might talk about that later on. Who knows? We'll see. So Furiosa.
Okay, that's a good choice. I agree with.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the last one on that one,
Mhm.
and Anya Taylor-Joy. I she has not done me wrong yet. I don't think I've seen a bad performance from her. and anything that I've personally seen that she's done. So I think she was a good choice for that movie. I'm all in, so that's a good choice.
Mhm.
George, what about you? What is your action pick of the year?
I also had a hard time with this. I'm not even 100% with my choice. I went with the ballerina only because it's from the same world as John Wick. I know a lot of characters from John Wick are going to be making an appearance in this as cameos, so hopefully that still keeps that feeling in there. I love Ana de Armas, kind of like up there with Anna Taylor-Joy. It's like she's still a great performer no matter what she's in, despite having a bad script. She's going to shine. The thing that really, it's Len Weissman as a director that has me worried. I just don't know. You know, he's really just done Underworld. That's been like his claim to fame. And while I love the first Underworld, it's not a series that I'm going back to and like, oh, this is the best. Like it's really good, you know. So hopefully they can still capture a lot of those really good fight scenes and storytelling that the John Wick series has brought us.
It's not a monthly rewatch for you, Underworld?
Maybe every couple years I'll watch Underworld, but just part one. I'm not watching every the sequels. You know?
Yeah, no, I stopped at part 9 for that one. But I actually had the same choice. With the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, which I think they're going to change the title to something else. With that moving out of 2024, Ballerina ended up moving up into the first one, mainly because it is in that John Wick universe, which I do enjoy. And I do remember while watching John Wick, uh, they touched a little bit on on the ballerinas and them training, but you don't get to see enough. And I remember having a curiosity as I was watching, like, oh, I would be interested in seeing a little bit more of that world and how that compares to like where John Wick came from. So the fact that they're gonna give us this in a full movie, just curiosity wise, I'm really anticipating it. I'm hoping the action matches or at least comes close to what we got from John Wick, while still being entertaining story wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I will give Len Weissman one that like he did make a decent action film, action series. The action in those in Underworld was good. So if he can get a good fight choreographer with him, we could see something amazing possibly.
All of the John Wick verse should always have stunt people included in the creative aspect.
Yeah.
It works for the for the 4 movies. Let's keep that within that universe. It works. Now let's go to the next topic, which is comic book movies, which we are actually pretty low on compared to other years
Yeah.
where we were completely flooded with comic books. And you know what? I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at it. Maybe, this is a first step towards not oversaturating the market when it comes to comic book movies, and maybe we'll start enjoying them a little bit more compared to the last couple of years. So, George, we'll start with you on this one. What is the comic book movie that you are looking forward to the most this year?
It's the same one that all of us are looking forward to watching this year, and it's only Deadpool 3. If you two say
Yeah.
anything else but Deadpool 3, I will be utterly shocked.
Oh, oh,
Because what
Jose.
else is there?
Oh, he's got a little trick up his sleeve, it looks like.
I'm
What?
gonna be surprised, honestly. Unless there's
I'll,
some indie comic book that no one's heard of that's getting a movie like The Killer from last year. I just don't see what big name title is gonna be worth watching besides Deadpool 3. You got Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. There's nothing else to talk about. This is it. We're getting the dream team together, finally.
all right. Well, Marie, we'll go to you.
Yeah, obviously the same answer for yeah, because of my reaction. I want to see Wolverine in the OG suit. I'm so excited to see that, just like the yellow suit, and like Ryan Reynolds is just perfect, and I think like I don't think he's like a perfect, but he's perfect for that role, and
He is
I
perfect. He
think
is mere perfection.
I don't want to be like Ryan Reynolds is perfect because like no, that's not what I meant, but and Hugh Jackman's so funny too, and I can't wait to see them playing off each other. 100%. So yes, I also picked the same. Jose.
Yeah, there's always this little bit of hesitance with Deadpool 3. There's a little bit of worry with me being under the Disney umbrella
Yes.
because
I
of
had
what
that
we're
note
used
too.
Yeah.
to with the first two Deadpools. I'm still really looking forward to it. But I do have that little bit of worry. I just want it to be so amazing because I think if it fails, if they are going to go rated R with this, and this movie fails or does not do well, good luck with any other Disney rated R movies going forward.
Yeah.
I think this can open the door towards having more of that. So I do hope it's good. It was not my choice for comic book movie though. I went with Beyond the Spider Verse because this is the closing of that, that trilogy, or if you want to call it the two movies with one split in half. But it's the supposedly the closing of that story, and that has been such a good story, well done from the beginning, that I'm really excited to see how is this going to end. And that's why I had to put that as my comic book movie, just because of that closure, that excitement for that closure of that story.
Did that get a release date for this year?
I think it's I mean, it might not keep it, but I believe it's like early April, end of March or something was the release date that was given.
Okay,
This
yeah.
that
The reason I didn't put it on
that
is because I didn't see an official release date for this year. That's
that's
why
the one that
I didn't put that on.
yeah, that's the one that I had saw. But there is a high chance that might switch, especially with all the reports that came out of the overworked artists and everything in there, and how much they had to pretty much not sleep, not have lives, not eat, not do anything to get the last one out. That they might, because of that backlash, give them a little more time. So it might end up getting pushed. But as of now, I haven't heard of a push date. I just have that original date. If it's not, then Deadpool will move into that.
That'd have been your
Uh,
choice, George, if
Oh
you
yeah,
knew.
easily. But I
Okay.
put that as
Okay.
2025. That wasn't. I don't see that movie coming out this year.
Um,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, from comic book to comedy, I'll start this one off just because the choice has already been said. Deadpool 3 was on my list for this
Yeah.
one. You know I'm gonna include it somewhere on this list. That's gonna be on some category. I'm not gonna exclude it, but we already talked about it, so I won't get too deep into it. But Deadpool 3 is my most anticipated comedy coming this year out of the overabundance of comedies that we're gonna get this upcoming year. So, Marie, we'll start with you on this one. What is the comedy you're looking forward to this year?
Okay. I'm anticipating it. I think anticipating could be like I'm also like, oh, I'm anticipating it to maybe not be good, but I'm anticipating it. And that is Borderlands. And I'm excited to see a Borderlands movie. Like I say, the first one is, sorry, no, Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games ever. But it's directed by Eli Roth, and he also co-wrote it. So it's based on the video game series by Gearbox Software. I just throw that in there. It's like a comedic Mad Max is
Yeah.
what I really
Yeah.
feel like. At least number two and number one kind of feel like, just so you get like the gist of kind of like how the stories are and like the vibe of it. But what really has me nervous is the cast. The cast is really freaking me out because they're all like 20 years older than I imagined any of the characters being. And I'm especially like Kate Blanchett. It's all a good cast. Like Kate Blanchett, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Bobby Lee's in it.
Yeah.
Um, but there's like so many people that I'm like, I didn't imagine these characters being this age whatsoever. And I'm really nervous about I just as long if Tiny Tina is good, I'll be okay. If she because Tiny Tina is my favorite um character in the Borderlands franchise. And if this actress can pull it off, then maybe. But like Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and I'm like, what?
As
I don't know.
Tannis.
The cat as Tannis, I know. Yeah, what? The cast is freaking me out. Tannis to me, they're all like in their 20s. And everyone else in the movies like in their 50s, 60s. Kevin Hart is Roland too. Roland's like a big
He's
guy
he,
who
he's at
talks
least
like this.
Jose's
He's all
height.
like, hey.
Yeah, Roland should
Yeah.
be at least Jose's height, which is it's like 6'1", 6'2". It's like how are you gonna put a 4-foot person playing this tall man? What the hell?
Well, also he has a low voice like this, right? Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, and it's like I guess they're gonna have to do camera tricks. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't agree with a lot of the cast. And Kate Blanchett could be anything. I don't care that she's older than I would imagine. Lilith Kate Blanchett's amazing, but yeah, I really hope that they also keep the same dirty adult comedy because that's one of my favorite parts of the game franchise, at least in the first two. And I hope they keep it that. But the cast is freaking me out, man. Freaking me out. Jack Black is Claptrap. I kind of like that. He's a robot, so it's okay.
He could do voices. I'm not worried about
Yeah,
Jack
he can do
Black.
voices. It's all right.
Yeah.
But I'm anticipating it in the way where I'm scared out of my mind, but I still want to see what they do with it.
And it's true. And Kevin Hart, he can play Kevin Hart, he can play Kevin Hart, and he's gotten really good at playing Kevin Hart.
He's also really good at playing Kevin Hart.
See, I actually have very minimal experience playing the Borderland games. I did a little bit of the Telltale's Borderland, but haven't played like
Yeah.
the actual full out games on it. Is that very like dark comedy that you get with Borderlands or
It's dark, it's silly, like they kind of hit upon every level of comedy that you can get, and there's a lot of inside
Yeah.
humor with it too.
Yeah.
Because I know like Eli Roth has shown that he can do like dark comedy, but
Mm.
I can't remember really like really silly like comedy with Eli.
Uh,
It's like
But I don't
it's
know
like
if that would fit with the Borderland.
well, this is why. This is why.
yeah,
We'll
this will
see.
be a different movie for him for sure. Like nothing in his repertoire is like Borderlands. So that I think
No.
I'm with you, Marie. Same thoughts because I love this series too. Me and my wife have played every Borderlands that there is, and it's very dear to us because we go through every character and everything. And yeah, when I saw this cast and everything, I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't gonna work.
No,
But I'm
no.
gonna watch it because maybe it will work, and maybe I'm wrong, and I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong
I
so
want to be wrong
bad.
too. I want to be wrong so bad too.
I want to say,
But
where the hell's Mordecai and Brick? There's only two characters from the original game, and where are my boys? I need my full team.
I know, like
oh,
leave Tannis out maybe, and like we don't need Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. Put someone else. Yeah, Bricker.
m-
Yeah, Mordecai. Right.
maybe they're not revealed yet. Maybe it's like a secret surprise. Right.
I don't know
I hope
why.
Maybe.
I hope for the sake of your fandom that it ends up being really good.
Thank
With
you,
that being said,
Jose.
Yeah.
George, what is your pick for comedy for the
What did
year?
I have? Yeah, there were so many comedies to choose from. I had to go with an action comedy, so I went with The Fall Guy.
Mm.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that one.
Yeah, no, when I saw it, this is a movie that was supposed to be made like what, 10, 15 years ago? I think originally Mark Wahlberg was attached to it, and
It's
then it
based off
just
the
fell through.
comic, right?
Huh? No, The Fall Guys are a show from the 70s with Lee
Oh,
Majors.
I'm confusing it with
Mm.
something else.
Yeah, no, it's basically like based off of a TV show. They're definitely taking their own approach to it. Lee Majors is supposed to make an appearance in it, so that's kind of cool for us old heads who like the original show. But Ryan Gosling still
Yeah,
doing this thing. Like Ryan Gosling
yeah.
is entertaining as hell. He's a great dramatic actor, but when he wants to be funny, it's great. I freaking like I just recently saw the Barbie movie a couple weeks ago. He steals the show. It's his movie. It's, as far as I'm
Oh,
concerned.
Same thing with the Nice Guys.
Yeah,
He
he's
stole the
hilarious.
show of the Nice Guys.
Yeah, so I'm all for it. And he gets to do his thing, being all like buff and stuff. It's like, yeah, perfect. Emily Blunt's in it as the director who's trying to like keep him in line and stuff. They could do no wrong. I'm all for them. I think the director is David Leitch. So what the hell's he's done? He did actually Deadpool 2. It should be interesting.
You know, on the casting alone, it had my interest, and then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, this looks like it can be fun.
Yeah.
So that's a
mhm.
good one. All right, well, from comic, let's get a little more serious here. We're gonna go to suspense thriller type movie. All right, George, we'll start with you on this one. What is the suspense thriller movie that you're looking for in the year?
I had to go with Civil War from A24. I think we all of us have mentioned it, but like besides the Kirsten Dunst in it, along with her husband Jesse Plemons, I'm excited because Jesse Plemons, but I'm excited when a couple comes together to do a movie. It can either be
You,
disastrous, like a Nicole Kidman Tom Cruise situation, or it can be magic in a bottle, like John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. So I'm like hoping it's gonna be more like the Emily Blunt, John Krasinski kind of side of things. I think it's gonna be amazing. and it's so perfect for this time that we're living in right now. It's definitely putting a mirror to us and like, hey, this is what we're heading towards if we don't get our shit together.
That that is
George
a good choice.
read my notes. George read my notes on the screen. Like everything he's saying, I'm like, oh, okay, easy.
Well, it's right, because that's actually my choice too. And
Ooh,
it had
really?
and it has basically a trifecta that's very promising. One, it's A24.
Yep.
Boom. There we go. There's 1 point. Two, has Jesse Plemons been in a movie that has not been a hit?
Or anything. Has he done
Yeah.
anything that has really failed? Because his
Yeah.
TV shows have done good too.
He's
Yep.
almost automatic. He's never the main guy, but if he is in it, you just upped your chances by 99.7% of having a success. So that's the next point. The third point, this is directing it is the writer and director of Ex Machina, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
sci-fi thriller suspense movies. So it's like all those three together.
Success is in the building. Blah 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm like, oh, I'm in. Like that's it. Top, no more. I'm sold. Take my money.
I want to point
Yeah.
out
And he,
Plemons. Plemons has been hot guy and fat guy, and he is unstoppable in both types. It doesn't matter. He's
yeah, he could do it. And also, Alex Garland wrote 28 Days Later, which is just one of my
yeah.
favorite, like, sorry, infected movies. Uh, and haven't Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons worked together before? Haven't they been
I
in
think they have.
shows or
Yeah, they
something?
they did like a
Well,
movie or a show together. Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's cute. But I agree with you, George, where it's like this is like close to home, this movie. This is a look. I hope what I really, really hope about this movie, and that I'm a little bit nervous about, is I hope that they don't.
Is it the political side of things that you're concerned about? 'Cause
Yes,
that's my
I'm
concern.
yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah, I hope they don't villainize one political side
yeah,
over the other. I hope it shows that if you're extremist in either side, this is what's going to come. We all need to get along, man, because this is what's happening. And it might come to this. So I just hope they don't like, be like, oh, we're going to favor this political side. It's going to be a agenda pushing to like something like that. That's what I'm worried about. I hope it's not that way. And if they keep it like neutral, I think it'll be awesome.
One thing I'm really curious about this project is like, we discussed a couple of months ago how A24 they're planning on shifting their strategy a little bit and start including some larger scale, more blockbuster type movies, well, to increase their finances in order to keep some of these other movies that are really good quality but don't make that much money in there. And this movie seems like it's the first step. It's not gigantic blockbuster, but it's not their regular lower scale. It's kind of in the middle. It's like a little stepping stone. So I really hope this works because if this is quality and they can do quality at that medium scale, then it's a lot easier for them then to jump up another scale while still keeping that quality in there. And we've got Nick Offerman. That's another one I forgot
yeah,
to mention. And he's great in everything I've seen him in too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I
That's the
love him.
perfect
Yeah.
setting for the persona that we know him as.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been waiting for this.
Right? Get
Uh,
off my land, or I will shoot you. Thank you.
so Marie, I'm assuming that was your choice too, unless I read that incorrectly.
Was my
Okay,
choice, yeah.
perfect. So we're all in agreement for
Yeah.
that one. All right, next let's going into sci-fi. Marie, we'll start with you on this one. What is the sci-fi movie that you are looking forward to?
Okay. There's nothing about it out except for a little synopsis and like that's it. I am so looking forward to a movie coming out called Necrocosm. And it is written, well, no, it's not written, it's written by somebody else, but it's directed by Panos Cosmatos, who wrote and directed Mandy. So
Mm,
Okay.
I love Mandy. I've seen it like 6 times. And again, it's that aesthetic. It's the whole vibe. When we watched Cabinet of Curiosities, I loved the viewing just for that reason. I just watched that episode again, like this past weekend. Um, I want to see everything this guy has coming because I feel so engrossed into his movies and I'm like, oh, I really feel them. But apparently, this is what it's about. It's a fantastic. A phantasmagorical fantasy nightmare set deep within a strange galaxy where two lovers are torn apart as they try to survive a malevolent invasion. Okay, so you got me at like this horrid love thing. Like I'm just like, okay, it's like yearning, and it's going to be this fantasy nightmare. He also said it's going to be hard sci-fi. No, it's not going to be hard sci-fi, but it's very fantastical and bizarre. And being about a lot of his interests and preoccupations all merged into one piece more than ever before. So I'm like, bring it, please. I can't wait. I can't wait.
What is considered hard sci-fi? Like tie in the science aspect of sci-fi?
Or well, I guess it says invasion. I don't know if it's not going to be. It might be more of like the fantasy, lovey type, weird, odd, instead of being like the aliens are coming and here's a bunch of aliens. Like, you know what? Maybe like that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Hard sci-fi.
probably more
It's fine.
focused on the story of the situation as opposed to like the science fiction that's happening in the background kind of thing.
Yeah. Thank you, George.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
All right, I have
like
to look into
Godzilla
that.
minus one. Yeah, I should throw it in there out of nowhere. Godzilla
Yeah,
minus one
yeah.
focused more on the people than it did on like the science fiction of
Aw.
the monster.
Yeah, you
Hey,
mentioned that a
good.
lot for a movie you did not like. All right, George, what is your sci-fi movie? And you can't pick Godzilla versus one that already came out last year.
So Godzilla minus two is coming out. No, very much like you, Marie. I'm picking a movie that there's no information on this movie whatsoever.
Okay.
But I saw Bong Joon-ho, and you've got my attention. Anything this
Ooh,
guy
what is he
directs,
doing?
Mickey 17. It's
I've
starring
not heard of
Robert
it.
Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Tony Collette, Steven Yeun. There's a star-studded cast that can't fail, as far as I'm concerned. But there is
Yeah.
zero information. There's nothing. All I saw was one image, and it's like Pattinson laying down, and you see him from like behind, and that's it. But I'm on board.
What?
That's all I need to know.
Oh, is it sci-fi? What's the sci-fi aspect? What's it? Do you know?
I know nothing. I
I
know.
love it.
All I know is
Well,
it's slated for this year.
yeah, I'm gonna be honest. As soon as you mentioned that director, it's like that might overtake my pick. For now, just based on that director alone,
Right?
he's done so much quality stuff, and then that cast together. But that being said, the choice that I had was Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire for this. I really enjoyed the last one that came out. I felt it was a good mix of homage without going overboard, while also doing its own thing and offering something, a little bit fresh. And even when they did their cameos at the end, they didn't overdo it. And the cameos weren't the ones driving the story. It was the new characters driving the story. So I feel if they can keep that balance, moving forward and expand a little bit on the story, like I feel it can still be really good. So I am curious because I think the franchise that they go in that direction will hinge on this movie. Like, where was it just a flash in the pan, the last one, or do they have something cooking?
That one I almost had for my comedy because I am kind of excited for that one too. I didn't know where to put it though. I didn't put it anywhere in the hopes that one of you guys would talk about it. So thank you, Jose.
There you go.
Boom,
Boricua.
boom.
Now we've got through the genres, so we got a couple of special categories here. For the next category, we'll start with you, George. What movie did you see? What's possible guilty pleasure for you? Something that might not be received well, might even not be that good, but there's a chance you might enjoy it.
I'm going with The Beekeeper because
All right, it's a good choice.
I don't see that being like a financial success. Honestly, Statham hasn't really been bringing in the bucks with just his name. Uh, the thing is, David Ayer as a director, he's good, but even he hasn't really done anything worthwhile in a long time. And that trailer, it didn't. It could have been a straight to DVD film for me, honestly. But that doesn't mean that's bad. Like it could still be just popcorn cheese, and I'm for that. Jason Statham just kicking people's butts. I like that. I don't need much premise besides that. You know, be whatever profession you want to be. I don't care what job you're taking on. Just go and beat up the guys. Do it. Do your thing, man.
Beat up the guys.
That,
Yeah.
that was almost my exact conversation when we were doing the stay tuned for this, and it was just like I'm gonna enjoy it. Like I don't care if he becomes a nun in his next movie.
Right.
Like, I'm probably gonna enjoy
Oh my
it.
God. Yes, an undercover nun. It's like Sister
Yeah.
Act, but it's like Statham
My
Act.
mistake.
Back.
I'm here to do just two things: pray to the Lord and kick your fucking ass.
That was so good. Oh man, I loved it. Oh.
That's a good choice. Although I don't know if you're giving it the proper respect. I feel like there might be some nominations there for, best actor or film at the end of the year. So I'm just saying.
I mean,
Right.
yeah, the Razzies are awards too. It's true.
Mhm.
What about you, Marie? What is a possible guilty pleasure for you this upcoming year?
Um, First, I want to say one more thing about my Necrocosm movies. Apparently, it's going to be like co-produced by A24. I forgot to add that. It was at the end of my list. So that makes me
All
want to see
right,
even more,
I'm
more,
in.
more. Okay.
Right,
I'm
sold,
in.
Right.
sold.
Right. But this is like apparently. So anyway, okay. So back to guilty pleasures. Mean Girls. No, just kidding. That looks like trash.
Oh my god.
Trash. Trash. I will not enjoy or be pleased by. No, okay, so I was really looking through. I don't feel guilty for liking a lot of things. So, but then I saw a movie. Again, there's nothing too much about it, and it's a horror movie, and it's called Stream. Now, the synopsis says Roy and Elaine Keenan find themselves separated from their family and decide that something must be done. Roy puts his work on the back burner, and the two seize the opportunity to relive past vacations. That's it. Synopsis I saw. Sorry, the synopsis I saw was that there's like people like just trying to trying to get them, like stalking them and trying to hurt them. I'm trying to watch my words for YouTube. But anyway, it's
Trying to
directed
eliminate them,
eliminate, thank you.
expire
Yeah,
them.
Trying to state them then.
right.
Okay? Like let's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So the director is Michael Levy, and I don't know what he did except for he co-produced Terrifier 2, which I didn't like, but that's all. This is the big thing that he co-produced. But the cast is crazy. It's horror legends pretty much, which is like Danielle Harris, who's the Jamie in Halloween 4 and 5, and she's Annie in Rob Zombie's Halloween's. Dee Wallace from The Hills of Eyes and The Howling and Cujo and Critters and E.T. And Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator,
Ah, love
Tony
Jeffrey
Todd from
Combs.
Candyman. I know Tony Todd from Candyman. Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, and also David Howard Thornton from he's Art the Clown in the Terrifier movies. Jose,
Sophie
yes,
Rose. That's the one that we interviewed,
Yeah,
George, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. She was really nice. She was cool. Um, so what you're saying basically horror expendables.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe it could be something like that. But the reason why it's going to be a guilty pleasure is because just by the name of what it's called, Stream, and how and what the cover photo looked like, or it looks like this glitchy like computer, it looks like it could be found footage in a sense, or POV in a sense. So I'm hoping it is because I love that, and that would make it a guilty pleasure for me. And it's probably not going to be great, but because it has like horror Hall of Fame actors in it, I'm going to see it, and if I like it, I'm even going to feel guilty. Whatever.
Might might have that nostalgia
Yeah.
entertainment too.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, the one I went with, it was a bigger budget one, but I don't know if this is gonna be good, but I feel like I'm just gonna enjoy it because I enjoy the series. It's gonna be Bad Boys 4.
Mm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I actually enjoyed the last one, Bad Boys for Life. I've enjoyed the series since the beginning. That was actually one of the first action movies that I saw in the theater on my own. So
Mm.
I loved the first one. I've watched it so many times that there's a bias. There's a special spot in my heart for like that franchise. So the fact that we're getting another one, I'm like, I'm gonna, even if it isn't good, I feel my leeway with it, my criteria is gonna be lower than most other people, so I'm gonna really enjoy it.
I will say
Bad Boys for Life.
I almost put that somewhere too because I saw that I was like another one. We're getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, and that was another one. And then let's end with, did you see a movie coming out this year? Did if you had to put your money on it, you would bet that this movie is going to bomb. And we'll start with you on this one, Marie. What is a
Oh.
movie that you feel coming out this upcoming year that is going to bomb?
I picked The First Omen, which is a prequel to the Omen movies. I don't recognize any of the names, none of the nothing actors, director, right? I didn't no one. I don't think any of the Omen movies are good, to be honest. I think it's just like it's a classic movie because that one good line, but I the trailer looked bad. I'm just like, this is gonna I think it's going to. I kind of no, I don't say I want it to. That's rude. But I I think it might bomb. I also want to say Night Swim, but that's already come out. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I think Night Swim might bomb. I don't know, but the first Omen I think is gonna bomb.
What about you, George? What's a movie you think is not gonna do too well?
I mean, I think it's obvious Madam Web is not going to do well.
Oh, oh
It's
yeah.
Ooh,
so
I
obvious.
forgot about that one.
Yeah. I just want to point out some things here. All right. We got Dakota Johnson as Madam Web, Sydney Sweeney as Spider-Man, Spider-Woman number two, Isabel Merced as Spider-Girl, Celeste O'Connor as Spider-Woman number three. Then we have Tahar Rahim as Ezekiel Sims, a Spider-Man character. And then Emma Roberts and Adam Scott as Mary and Ben Parker. All right, this is Mary Parker, who should be the wife of I forgot his name, Robert Parker, I think, or Richard Parker, as Richard Parker, the brother of Ben Parker. No Spider-Man. There's a bunch of Spider-Man characters here with zero Spider-Man. All right,
Mhm.
all these characters only exist because of Spider-Man. Why are we still making Spider-Man films without Spider-Man? There hasn't been a successful one yet. It upsets me to no end that this keeps on happening. All right. Stop it. Stop it now.
Yes, I love the passion. I could feel your anger.
It's so
It's like
upsetting.
having a Ghostbuster movie with no ghosts. What are they even doing out there?
Just busting.
You're
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
lucky. You're
But
lucky. You're lucky.
even with that, I will still hold my choice as a bigger bomb, and that's going to be Venom 3. Sony strikes again.
Yeah.
So I'm
They
going with
got
Sony,
you got Venom 3, fucking Madam Web, and Craven the Hunter. It's like, what are you
I,
guys doing, man?
I think Craven does the best out of all three of those. I
I
think,
think I'll enjoy it the most.
yeah,
That's what I think will happen because I like Aaron Taylor Johnson and the action looks kind of decent.
I agree. The reason I say Venom 3, besides the fact that I feel the first two are overrated, they are not good at all. People love the first one, and all I can think of when I think of the first one is what a waste of Tom Hardy. And two, I just can't get that final fight scene in my head where it just looks like diarrhea splashing on diarrhea like over and over again. And I'm like, that is not a good fight scene. And two was even worse. So now you're gonna
Yeah.
give me a third one. And then the fact I think probably out of the three Sony ones, I I believe that one has the highest budget or should have the highest budget, so that has more to lose. So I think that one's gonna be the big bomb of the year from me.
Well, then screw you, Jose. You have no good taste.
Brenda, one of my favorite villains in comics, and they've just made him a laughing stock. But anyway, you know what? Let me throw one last question here that will end. Out of all the movies you mentioned today, if you can only pick one to watch, what's going to be your choice? George, we'll start with you. I know I'd throw a little tough one out there.
That hurts. Oh, that
Yeah.
hurts.
Oh yeah.
I hate you, Jose. Only because I've seen more on it. I'm gonna go with Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
Okay. Your choice. Marie, what is your choice? You can only pick one. All the other ones will burn and never be seen again.
It's funny because you were like, we can't end this on a sour note. We gotta say which one are you most excited
Yeah.
for? We can't talk about being. I want to be bummed out of Venom just before we cut. Um, honestly, the necrocosm. I really love that Thanos Cosmatos, man. I don't mean, I know nothing about this movie, and I can't wait to see it just because of how much I love the movie Mandy. I want to see, I want those visuals, I want those neons, I want some like violence, I want the love, I want it all because that's my soul, and I can't wait.
I want it all.
For me, it's obviously no, it's not. Not Venom at all.
I almost spat my tea out. I almost spat it out. Almost venom diarrhea all over my freaking screen.
I like to self-torture, so that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Uh,
Yeah.
no, I will have to, and it's a very close tie between two movies, but I'm gonna have to go Deadpool 3. It's gonna have to
Hmm.
be the most anticipated one of the years just because there's so much writing in the line with that one. I've been waiting for it for so long. We just recently got another Spider-Verse, which is the other one that I was kind of close with, and that might not even come out this year if they end up pushing it. So I'm gonna have to go with Deadpool 3. So
Oh,
that is some of the movies that we're looking forward to. I'm sure there'll be other movies that are gonna end up getting moved into 2024. Some movies might end up getting moved out, so this list is fluid. It might change for us. Is there anything that you listeners are looking forward to this year that we didn't talk about? Or if you agree or disagree with some of our choices, if you are a Venom lover, don't comment. I don't want to hear from you. Feel free to drop your Venom love in there in the comments below if you want. Make sure to like, subscribe, find us in all the platforms, IG, Twitter, and anywhere where you can listen to podcasts, we are there. With that being said, I am your host for today's episode, coming soon. And you can find me at This Is Me Nombre on Instagram.
And today I am not your host, coming to a theater near you. You can follow me at Nicolopolis on Instagram, Twitter, and wherever.
and I'm the coming attraction. You can find me at Marie Plays It All on Instagram. I don't like saying it, feels weird.